Welcome back, everybody. We are into the Game 3 draft for Omega Gaming Silence versus Conviction. This Game 3 going to determine who's going to take first place in the group for the time being, going to determine who is guaranteed into the playoffs. I'm Gordo, joined once again by Rudude as we see the first bands coming out. Going to be a new Caitlyn band from the side of Conviction. Yeah, no. Omega Gaming, though, keeping with the same band strategy they've had every game throughout this series, they've gone Lucian, Hecarim, Darius as their three bands every game. It looks like they're not going to change it for this one as we start and see what the first pick is going to be for Conviction. In game one, it was the Graves. Let's see if they keep it. Yeah, and this is where Omega has taken Caitlyn Nidalee on both drafts, whether they were on blue or red side, so they can't do that anymore. We've got to assume it's still going to be the Nidalee. I'd be surprised to see anything else, as there's been some really good performances from Banky Kang on that pick so far. Looks like it's going to be locked in here. But definitely curious to see what the other pick here is going to be, as this has been the Caitlyn historically, but no longer can be. Hovering the Ezreal might still try to take 80 carry on this pick, try to preserve some of the later solo lane picks that they've been going for. That is going to be a Samira pick. Definitely a interesting option into two skill shot oriented poke characters, as she can do that blade dance to get those projectiles destroyed. Or I don't think it's blade dance. I think it's something else. But Blade Whirl, there we go. But yeah, certainly seems like it's going to be a good counter pick here. We'll see what they try to pair it with. They've been traditionally picking a support here, and it's going to be the Leona. I'd love to see an Alistair here. I feel like Alistair is going to crush this lane. Morgana, also an option, going to try to nullify the Leona pick a little bit. It's been banned, actually, on the side of Conviction both games before this one. So definitely something that they're scared to see, at least in the first half of this series, Banjito's Morgana. They're going to be seeing it this game. All right, that red band there is going to be the Galio, by the way. Just gotten word from that in the chat. So it's going to be Galio band away from the side of Omega Gaming, followed up by the Orn band from the side of Conviction. Just trying to get the opposing mid laner Odin off some of those comfort picks. They banned the Galio and they banned the Kassadin in this position last game from the blue side. Let's see if we got another Kassadin ban in the chamber here. Yeah, so that's going to be Odin Zoe getting banned out here. So gonna be a different approach than we saw last game. We saw that double sleep jungle mid duo, and now with a different jungler picked and with Zoe banned out, going to be a little something different here. Omega Gaming now going to blind pick one of their solo lanes so that they can counter pick the other. I expect a gangplank. I would assume. There we go. It's gonna be hovered, and there it is, locked in. I finally got one right, Rudude. Is that it looks like this is actually Wukong. Previously in this series, we've had Wukong, and it turns out it wasn't Wukong. It was uh, Nautilus. But I think this is actually Wukong. I don't think that's a Nautilus pick. So it's gonna be the Wukong into Gangplank. That's definitely going to be an aggressive lane, and it's gonna be the Sylas in the mid lane to counter out that Zilean. That is correct. Yeah, and this is a lane that the Wukong's actually supposed to win. So Duncan Dumplin, in a much better position than he was last game. And last game he was able to perform from that position. I really thought that game was over once we saw Volibear fall behind by about 20-25 CS within the first couple of minutes. But great teleport play pulls him back into the game, follows up by a solo kill, and is then pretty much ahead for the entire rest of the game. So I'm really excited to see what Duncan Dumplin can do on an actual true counter pick here. The Wukong supposed to be something that can really bully out the Gangplank for a significant portion of time. It has CC that can't be cleansed out of by the oranges because it's a knockup. It has a lot of armor shred that's just going to be able to keep the damage down. It doesn't really have the ability to be mobile and separate itself from the Wukong ult or the Wukong clone. Definitely a pick that I would be excited to see Duncan Dumplin try to punish this weak side from Koros even harder than he did in the game one, where he got to play that Camille into the Gangplank.
Yeah, exactly. If we turn our attention to the second solo lane matchup that we've got here, the Sylas picked into the Zilean, going to be stealing a really valuable ultimate there with that Chrono Shift being yoinkied away from the Zilean, as well as the fact that there are a lot of big ultimates here. The collateral damage does do a lot of damage, the Inferno trigger as well. One of those things that is going to be really useful on a Sylas. All of these ultimates really going to be profitable. Probably going to see the Graves be the one that is least taken away because Sylas is one of those really weird AP mage bruiser assassin type champions where if he gets in the mix he's doing his most effectiveness, and the majority of these ultimates combine with that synergy very well. The Cyclone being able to be stolen, potentially solar flares, locking down champions on top of him. There's a lot of things that are going backwards and forwards with this Sylas that can yield some good results.
Yeah, definitely powerful ults to steal out of the Wukong Zilean and Leona. Do you know, Rudude? Can Sylas cast Samira ult? You don't need Sylas doesn't need to Sylas doesn't lack the ability to pick up what's it called? Style.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find out because I offhand don't know. I don't know
Okay.
how the Sylas would build up style points. I mean, I presume it's
I
just
would
the same
assume
way
he
that it's
doesn't
the
have to,
Samira
but that
does.
seems
Yeah.
like that seems almost stupid good. So I guess we'll find out here if Silas is the new meta counter to Samira, assuming that once we get into the 2011, the 2021 season, off by about 10 years there. As we get into the 2021 season and Samira is enabled and competitive, maybe the Silas is going to be a classic counter pick to Samira across the map. Just because he has such easy access to that incredibly powerful ultimate. He converts AD ratios to AP ones when he steals it. So that's a mobile Katarina ult, just
Exactly.
walking through your team with almost no setup required. If Silas can just cast Inferno Trigger whenever he pleases, We're in for an interesting one.
Especially as well, since Inferno Trigger doesn't actually go on cooldown either. I presume that Riot have worked it so that you can only get one cast of Inferno Trigger before it goes off and
Yeah, it's got to
gets
be that.
taken
You only
away.
get to cast like Kassadin ult once. It's got to be.
But all of those have a cooldown, right? Samira ult is the
That's
only ult
true.
in the
That's
game that
true.
doesn't actually have a cooldown, I think, if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
true. That's true.
So, maybe in some distant PBE land where they'd not thought about it, it
Oh
would
boy.
have been okay. But I think at least they should only be able to cast it once. But I will definitely be interested to keep track on the style points. And Silas definitely can build if Silas had the style mechanic, and we don't know that he does yet so far. He could
There's
build
no
it
way
up
he
quite
has the
quickly.
style mechanic, so it's either he can cast it or he can't. I
Can't.
think. I don't think there's any way that he gets like a whole nother resource bar that he can build up on his own.
Let's hope not. Anyway, Silas with all that
Yeah.
movement speed would be absolutely terrifying. That
Yeah.
that being said, though, there are other things to counter or to think about rather than just how Silas works with the Inferno trigger, which is going to be a big cooldown here and something that I really want to focus on because as soon as Samira was picked second for Conviction here when they've got no CC in the lineup of Omega Gaming Silence. The Nidalee and the Ezreal didn't really provide anything to shut down that Inferno trigger. Since then, they've drafted a couple of resources to be able to do that. The Dark Binding Soul Shackles combo from Banjito, and also the Chain, the Abscond and Abduct combination of Silas will really be able to shut down the Samira. Those cooldowns, however, in a team fight vacuum can be quite long, and if they go wide or the Samira is able to dodge it using the dashes to get in and out, those Inferno triggers can be very deadly if they aren't interrupted.
Yeah, certainly. And once again, pulling it back up towards this top lane matchup, I'm certainly excited to see this one. Koros going to be back on his weak side Gangplank, but as we saw in game one, that's something that Omega Gaming Silence is really comfortable playing around. They were able to he went down. He gave up 5 deaths over the course of that game one, but they were just able to make up so many plays on the other end of the map. They were always able to answer into the bot lane and into the mid lane, where Zudo and Banjito had already developed such a lead. I'm wondering if they're going to be able to do that again. This is a harder counter lane than it was the first time, but Koros able to navigate that masterfully the first time. Let's see what he's able to do in this second game
Exactly, and
of Gangplank.
precisely this is the test of time really. Koros's perfect Gangplank, the comfort pick for him up against what is a really difficult counter matchup. So I have to see once again whether or not he's able to do the work that he was able to in game number one. And on the other side, the Wukong was taken away in the first game from Dunkin' Dumpling, so onus is on him to have a stellar performance like he did in that second game. We saw him solo kill Koros once or twice with the volley bet into the Shen. And we'll have to see if that comes to fruition because Wukong and Gangplank, both very strong champions in team fights and can take over if they're given the lead, given the resources to do so.
Yeah, we just saw Duncan Dumplin in the last game, take a comfort pick, take something that wasn't supposed to be a winning matchup and turn it around into one. Now, let's see if Koros can do the same thing. Gonna take a quick break here as we load up into game, get everything synchronized. Stay tuned. It's going to be a really exciting match 3 here between Omega Gaming Silence and Conviction. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody, to Game 3 between Omega Gaming, Silence, and Conviction. It's been a great series so far. I'm Gordo, joined once again by Rudude. Rudude, you ready for Game 3?
You damn right I am, Gordo. So excited to get into this one. This is going to be the game that decides which team locks themselves playoffs tonight and which team has to fight for it in the final week of the regular season here. And Banjito already asserting himself with this Morgana. You know, first binding hits, we might as well just call GG right here.
Yeah, that's an advantage in a lot of ways. That gets the Mana Flow Band trigger, that gets the Spell Thief's Edge trigger. That might be the biggest level 1 advantage we've seen yet. Mad Show Gap going to be looking for this, actually. It's going to be a flash, but Banjito's ready for it. He lands the binding in advance. Odin, taken so incredibly low, going to have to flash, going to have to recall.
Yeah, and this level 1 poking game that we've not seen a 5-point from these teams so far, with the Blitzcrank being used in both games. But this is actually the most action we've got out of a level 1 here. Flash burned from Odin, 2 bindings landing from Banjito so far, so 2 for 2. Getting his eye in early on in these bindings that don't necessarily matter too much, but they definitely help you out. You know, getting the practice in. He's going to feel confident as he moves into the laning phase versus what is going to be quite a daunting lane to stare at, Samira and Leona.
Yeah, Koros going in, going to be looking for this early trade on a Duncan Dumplin, gets his proc from his passive on there, going to trade back and forth with some autos here, going to have the Grasp the Undying trigger, but getting traded back on in himself. Going to be pretty close to even, but another parlay, going to proc Grasp again, give that Gangplank a little bit of an early lead in an otherwise unfavorable matchup.
Yeah, and for level 1 at least, he's definitely going to have the advantage. Looking at the starting items, Duncan Dumplin really trying to take the pain to this Gangplank with that Doran's Blade. But with that early trade coming through, Koros with the Grasp of the Undying, with the Corrupting Potion.
Oh, but he hits level 2 first, immediately dashing in onto the Gangplank, getting a good trade in with that Crushing Blow. They're going to disengage. That's another binding landed in the bot lane. Official Nuke's going to be forced to flash away on this Samira pick, getting auto down, going to blow the heal as well. Meanwhile, Banky Kang is fighting with Strixer, trying to get this invade off, but it's going to be a flank from Mad Show Gap, doing lots of damage on a Strixer here. Odin can't really follow up too much as this level 2 Zilean as the both parties are going to disengage.
Yeah, action all over the map already. No kills being yielded, but, you know, flash from Banky Kang, double summoner spells used in the bot lane as well from Official Nukes. He's now very vulnerable on this Samira pick, and Banjito showing off these dark bindings left and right. No kills being picked up, but it's definitely an interesting start to the game.
Yeah. Now, we can take a look across the lane here. Nobody's developed too huge of an advantage either way, but it's going to be the early recall out of Omega Gaming's bot lane. Azudo going to pick up that Cull as early as he can, as well as Banjito picking up those boots. Going to have a little bit of an advantage in this bot lane as they're returning before the wave crashes.
Yeah, exactly. Get that cheetah recall going, and Samira going to have the same luxury. Probably going to also pick up a
Gap
Cull.
going in for an aggressive trade here onto Odin, going to trigger the Electrocute, going to use the Ignite, and going to force Odin once again to just back away. He does not have access to that flash. He's very scared of where Banky Kang might come from, and as I say it, Banky Kang is going to land a max distance spear, going to be looking for the first blood here, but isn't quite comfortable enough to leap in between 2 turrets as level 3 Nidalee. Oh, but Mad Show Gap is very willing to go in for the dive and aggressive plays here. He misses the E, but he gets the shield, or he gets the heal off of his W, rather. He gets the first blood as well, as now he's going to have to trade in with Strixer here. Is he going to get the W up in time? No, Strixer takes him down with the close range shotgun blast. Going to be a 1-for-1, but first blood going over to Mad Show Gap and Omega Gaming Silence.
Exactly. The teleport is going to be used by Odin, so he doesn't miss too much under the turret. And important to note that it might have looked as though Mad Show Gap was sort of running down into Strixer. He was, and that was because Duncan Dumplin was roamed out from the top lane, going for that kill, and Koros going to be quite happy that he gives that back over to the Graves instead of giving this Wukong any more advantages in this laning phase.
Yeah, and Koros actually has developed a little bit of a CS lead for himself here. There are more minions alive for the side of Duncan Dumplin, but Koros actually has a level advantage here, has barrels laid down, is getting these procs, and is trying to zone Duncan Dumplin off of those very same minions. It's going to be a binding, landed onto Strixer, followed up by a spear. So much violence in this early game.
So much just skill shots being thrown, a lot of utility being used across the map here. The thing with this, you know, matchup is that I think it really needs to get to level 6 at least for Dunkin' Dumpling at this stage. You know, maybe in a standard lane, Koros might have been in a little bit more trouble, but that level 1 trade that he was able to take burned the only health potion from Dunkin' Dumpling, and with the Grasp, with the Corrupting Potion, the starting items really just did determine the lane here. Dunkin' Dumpling managed to recall, get himself a refillable potion, but he used the TP for that as well, so Koros is going to have a free base. Base Giovanni.
No, Azuto going to be saved from the CC by that Morgana Black Shield. Official Nuke's now trying to pressure on in as they've got the jungler coming in on the side. Strixer going to be landing the smoke screen onto both targets, trying to take down Banjito here. Banjito going to flash away, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, so the flash from both bot
that's a
laners.
spear landed on a Strixer, though. They're going to be following in with Banky King. Banky King trying to get the solo here out. Gets the challenging smite down, but Strixer trying to trade back. Banky King trying to land as many autos as possible, trying to reset that challenging smite, but he gets taken down by Giovanni. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Koros able to pick up a kill.
He used it
was with the ultimate. It was with the ultimate.
Yeah.
I missed the ultimate entirely, but well played there by Koros. It's going to be a 1-for-1 across the map.
Yeah, exactly. Taking down the Samira here as well. She should miss some minions underneath the turret, and you can see a CS lead already being picked up for Azuto. That gank was really there to bail them out, and Dunkin' Dumpling.
Dunkin' Dumpling just hit 6 though, and Koros does not have his ultimate available. He's going to go in. He gets him a turret. Well, he's taking the turret aggro. Dunkin' Dumpling able to take advantage of that situation, take advantage of that moment of vulnerability from Koros, and pick up the solo kill.
Yeah, a little bit of an overextension from Koros once again, and really nice capitalization from Dunkin' Dumpling. They're able to get the solo kill in the top lane, and as I say, they need to reach level 6 before the Wukong has a chance. Ding 6, all-ins, and gets the kill all for free right there. Doesn't have to burn his flash, and even gets the one from Koros as well. Strixer and Banky Kang fighting in the river once again.
Yeah, no, going back and forth here. Banky Kang does have a 1-level advantage. Going to be missing the spear, though. Strixer going in, going to be getting the smite down. Trying to use that challenging smite to get himself some mobility increases from his phase rush, but he's going to be taking damage back from Banjito, who's come up to assist in the gank. He's got to retreat back under his top lane. MadShowGap has the Zilean ultimate stolen away, is going to be trying to use that Chrono Shift to try to swing a fight in his favor, but he can't find anything.
No, he can't, and these bot laners just left to their own devices down here. Banky Kang going to go in and take away this blue buff as well. The Grace forced to recall means that he knows that this side of his jungle is no longer his, and they're Nidalee going to get a lot more of a lead. And Dunkin' Dumpling with no ulti has flash available. He's probably going to get 4-man Dove right here. Chrono Shift still available.
This is a prime dive opportunity for the side of Omega Gaming Silence as they have access to the Chrono Shift. Dunkin' Dumpling is aware of this. He's just trying to take the fight away, but he's just going to get taken down. Banky Kang now tanking, but he is going to get rezzed up by the Chrono Shift. Beautifully used by MadShowGap. He understands how to press the R button, and it's going to be a successful dive for the side of Omega Gaming Silence.
Exactly, and that's such a huge wave for the Wukong to miss on the top side as well. The XP lead that now Koros is going to have is going to be absolutely massive. Looks like the teams are going to cross-map though. Strix are going to look towards this first Cloud Dragon, and MadShow with Banjito actually going to maybe walk towards the mid lane and try and stop it, but this entire time Banky Kang has gone toward the Rift Herald. So cross-mapping the objectives and a kill down on the top lane for, I believe it was Koros able to pick that one up as well. Means he's going to be snowballed quite heavily into this lane.
Yeah, no, he is really powerful in this lane now as he's been able to get a kill with the ultimate and another kill off the dive. He's now going to be trading in on this Wukong, feeling a little bit more confident as he has a significant CS lead from the early laning and as well as a kill lead from his ultimate down bottom earlier.
Exactly, and you know, all of that being said, Banjito was topside for maybe 2 minutes right there. Azuto still has the CS lead. Yes, the gap has been closed, but this is the power of Ezreal with a tier. He was just able to sit back under his turret outside of kill distance from the Samira and was able to farm up freely. Whilst that has all been going on as well, Banky Kang did secure the Rift Herald, and they just take that straight up to the top lane. They've now given Koros first turret gold and used the Herald to get themselves one turret here. Maybe going to look for a second charge, but that eye is going to pop, and Dunkin' Dumpling going to get that one to safety. But this GP now has such a big recall right here. I have to see what he manages to pick up, but 2 kills, first turret. He could be going for a big purchase here.
Yeah, Koros is up 2k gold over Dunkin' Dumpling right now. If you take a look over at those gold totals, that's a big advantage at this point in the game. Almost double his value as he's picked up a completed Trinity Force and is returning to this lane. This is not going to be pretty, Rudude.
No, you talked about the fact that Wukong wins this matchup, and we saw the level 6 come through and he was able to secure an advantage, but Chorus on this GP just feels so confident, so comfortable on it. It's not really a case of who wins the matchup, more so that Chorus get his hands on GP, and that's just enough to sway any match. But I mean, we still have a lot of this game to go. The gold lead is essentially in Chorus's pockets, and whilst he's got the lead, he has been known to overextend. You know, the one death was a bit of a misplay on his part, game number 1 as well. Found a couple of deaths where maybe they weren't necessary. But Macho as well is sort of styling a little bit in the mid lane.
Yeah, you really can't blame Conviction for giving away this Gangplank again, though. In the first game, they gave it away, and they were able to keep it down for the most part. Sure, they got traded against cross-map, but they were at least able to get multiple kills onto it. But here, in this game, it's got such an advantage already. Banky Kang is coming up, ganking for it. They're not treating it as weak side anymore, because this Gangplank is the most powerful character on the map.
Exactly, and when you have laners like Ezreal, like Sylas, who... The Ezreal very self-sufficient in the lane. Sylas as well. There's never going to be under any kill threat from the Zilean. There's no reason not to. You know, Chorus can
Strixer flashing in onto Banky Kang here, going to be met with a flash of his own. So trade of flashes from the junglers here. Koros looking to see if he can pick something up as Odin and Strixer lurking around their own jungle. They are spotted out by that control ward, which is now going to be taken down. Banky Kang going for a recall. That's going to be it.
Yeah, and he's got a nice little CS lead as well in the jungle. Has a few camps over this Graves at the minute, and even Koros trying to help out, taking them away, fails the Gromp steal, but, you know, it's nice to see nonetheless. Banky Kang has the completed Runic Echoes, is now working towards what we assume is going to be a Zhonya's for the 3rd game in a row, and when you're up against Wukong Zilean and the Samira as well, that's a lot of armor that you can build up, and very valuable as well.
I'm still really excited to see this Sylas try to steal Samira ult. I have no idea what's going to happen, and it's either going to be a huge disappointment for everybody involved, or it's going to completely dominate a fight.
Exactly, it's one of those things where we build it up so much. Banjito, good presence.
Yeah, maybe not everyone involved. I actually think Conviction would probably be pretty okay if it doesn't do anything.
That's very true. Steal it away, and then there's just a Sylas there with an ult that they can't use.
If you can't use it, if you need the style to use it, then you effectively are on like a multiple-minute Sylas ultimate cooldown as it just waits for you to use it.
Exactly.
So it'll be quite the disadvantage. Maybe if it doesn't work though, maybe Mad Shogap already knows that from having played the matchup before, and he'll just never steal it.
Strixer.
Banky Kang going to be walking into Strixer here, just going to walk right through it, jump over the wall, try to get away. Meanwhile, Giovanni engaging, and now it's going to be the Zilean. Odin caught up with the Dark Binding, but going to be able to walk out. Koros now being engaged on by this Wukong. Wukong looking for the solo kill, even so far behind in this matchup. That's the matchup difference right there, as he's able to almost solo out the Gangplank. Isn't quite able to get it off, though.
No, exactly. And with the Bilgewater as well, it has the slight sustain advantage with that lifesteal it builds. Banky Kang finds
Banky Kang lands a spear onto the opposing AD carry. Samir going to be taken out solo. Mad Shogap flashes forward. W gets the kill, but it's going to be a huge stun coming out of that Zilean. Zilean going to be able to possibly pick it up with the Ignite, but Mad Shogap just manages to stay alive. It's going to be a 2-for-0 in the favor of Omega Gaming Silence.
Yeah, Banjito with the fadeaway binding able to pick up Boss Giovanni, and the Flash Kingslayer onto Nukes catches him off guard. He has Flash and Heal still available, but doesn't use either of them. 2 kills coming down before the Mountain Dragon spawns. With bot lane just now respawning, it looks like Banky Kang and the rest of Omega Gaming Silence are going to be able to take this one. Strixer is nearby though, maybe looking for a steal.
Strixer might just be trying to throw away the collateral damage over the wall if he can get vision on it, trying to hopefully steal away this dragon, but even that doesn't look like it's going to be an option. Omega Gaming Silence covering all their angles very effectively here. They're going to be able to pick up this mountain dragon.
Yeah, exactly. Really well played objective take, you know, and even though it was pretty much free because they'd got the 2 kills before, I really like the setup that they put into it. Sylas with the ward over the wall was able to see if the Graves came. Banjito setting up a zoning position with the Morgana as well. All of these things contributing to essentially the freest Drake take that Sylas will get, or will have had this entire series. And now we're looking to see if they can continue this snowball, right? 4,000 gold in the lead at 14 minutes, probably the biggest lead that we've seen so far. And this is, you know, the majority of it, as we'd expect to see if we toggle the gold quickly, is in the top lane. 2,000 of it in favour of Koros. But there's a pretty large just lead across the rest of the roles, right? And that's what's generating this lead across the board. There's 500 gold stacked up between pretty much every member of Omega Gaming Silence, and that in addition to the big lead in the top lane, surmounting to the 4k. Going to see if they can try and close it out, though. They've still got a long way to go before this is over. We've seen Conviction fight back from much worse and definitely be able to play out the game. Strixer jumping in on Banky Kang.
Yes, Trickster looking for a potential kill around the Banky Kang. Omega Gaming does want this Rift Herald. They've been setting up for it, and ooh! A big True Shot Barrage followed up by a Spear is going to instantly blow out Strixer. They no longer have access to the Smite. Banjito getting collapsed onto, but he's going to be getting those chains down before he dies. Koros able to pick up another kill on Giovanni as he arrives from the side off of the teleport. Now the Resurrect coming through for Banky Kang, as that's going to be a huge ultimate coming through from Original Nukes. Nukes trying to pick him up as Mad Show Gap just finishes him off. It is going to be a 4-for-1 or a 4-for-2 fight rather in the favor of Omega Gaming Silence.
Yeah, finding fights in the jungle where they can there. The really long-range poke composition or comp duo really of this Ezreal and the Nidalee coming up huge. The True Shot Barrage in combination with a couple of spears just take down Strixer before he's even able to do anything about it. Flash and Crattle Barrage still available, just wasn't expecting the burst to come through from this long-range artillery fire that Omega Gaming Silence have drafted for each other. Banjito now stopping just the prevention of bases more so than anything else. But the 4 kills going in their pocket is going to feel so good. Koros will run absolutely rampant in that team fight with this completed Trinity Force, landing a couple of really nice barrels as well. And most importantly, Azuto keeping himself safe in the backline. Twitch with the Dunkin Dumpling trying to get in on top of him, wasn't able to pick up the kill. The heal was used perfectly to bait Wukong in and managed to keep himself alive. Iceborne Gauntlet being built up right now, so now the Wukong wasn't able to find him there, and he's going to find it more and more difficult to get a kill.
Yeah, no, and they've actually given away the Rift Herald that they took down to Koros, so they're just going to be relying on him to be able to sit in a side lane and just be that huge force of pressure, because he is able to take these 1v1s with Dunkin Dumplings at this point. He has the Trinity Force completed, he has an extra BF sword on top of it, he's been winning the matchup already, so they believe that he can just keep throwing these waves in, and at some point in an isolated matchup, he's going to be able to get the advantage on his own, throw down the Rift Herald and make a big difference. Meanwhile, Strixer getting engaged on by the Nidalee here, but it might have been a bait. But actually, it's going to be the Nidalee picking up the kill. Excellently calculated there as he gets taken down by Samira as well. Meanwhile, Azuto managing to get the trade back onto Dunkin Dumpling. Now it's only 3 members left for Conviction as they're backing up. They're getting engaged on by Koros from the side. They know that they can't win this fight 3v3, and Mad Show Gap pushing on his own rather in the bot lane.
Yeah, and top side, did Wukong die in the bot lane there to... Or was with the fight, right? That he just went down.
Yeah, he got caught out by the Dark Binding.
And died in the front, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just blasted down by Azuto as he just can't get away from these Manamune Sheen auto attacks, just getting queued over and over again. Gets taken down. He's only got the Blade of the Ruin King. He doesn't have any armor items. He can't survive that for very long.
Exactly, and the 4v5 on the top side, Silence still generate 2 kills and don't give anything over. It speaks to how far ahead they are. And, you know, even, I don't even think Koros really did anything that fight. Banky Kang was the lead source of damage onto Strixer at least, and the Azuto-Banjito combo took down the Wukong. So, you know, this pressure point that we've been talking about isn't even where Silence are finding the advantages. The entire time on the bot side, Madshow was able to push in wave after wave, got some nice little chip damage onto the bot tier too, which will set them up for more objective takes later on in the game. So Silence really putting the pedal to the metal here, trying to make sure that they are the team who take this playoff spot tonight, able to secure themselves a spot further on in Risen Divine League and see if they can, you know, really dominate the rest of this grouping stage.
Yeah, definitely feels like a statement series for Omega Gaming Silence here. They gave up their first series of the league, of the season last week in a game that we were casting. And now they're just looking to pull it back against the second place team in that same group, just proving that they are as dominant as they originally appeared to be, and that this is their group to take. Now it's going to be an engage on a Koros, but he's got a beautiful black shield. They can't CC him down at all, as their top laner is going to fall as well. The True Shot Barrage is going to be eaten up by the Blade Whirl, but Koros is just chasing through onto Strixer as he is forced to retreat. It's going to be a 1-for-0 in favor of Conviction. Excellent pickup there.
Yeah, they find a 2-man solar flare, but the Ezreal dashes out of it. The Gangplank gets the black shield, and the engage is just reduced to nothing entirely. Twitch, Dunkin Dumpling is able to jump into the backline, but doesn't find any kills. You know, talked about this Ezreal building up the armor. That Iceborne Gauntlet versus the Blade of the Ruin King is doing lots of work. Bork is really built to go against tanks with HP, not tanks with armor. Ezreal with this build hasn't built up any extra bonus health, so the reaping the rewards of the Iceborne Gauntlet so far, and even though the True Shot Barrage is denied by the Blade Whirl, the team fight handily won by Silence, and they push back and get themselves the Drake as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing why that Morgana was banned 2 games in a row against Vangito, because he has been clutch on these Black Shields this game, nullifying several Leona engages, including that in lane, also including that fight that we just had there, able to completely nullify Duncan Dumplin's engage, turning what could have been getting picked off into a pick for his side, getting a 1-for-0 in favor of Omega Gaming Silence.
Exactly, and we're still yet to answer the most important question of this series, which is, can Sylas steal Samira ult? Macho, please, my friend,
I think
we're
the
waiting
fact
for
that
you.
it hasn't happened yet means Mad Show knows the answer, and the answer is no.
I still hold out hope. I'm going to say that he's found more use from Zilean ulti and Solar Flare for that, but I'm going to say
That's true,
one team fight, he's going to steal it, and it's going to go absolutely massive. That's what we need to see. I don't care who wins this game at this point. Just need to see if Macho is able to steal Samira ult. Please.
I would love to see it, but I'm losing faith. Every fight that goes by, every time Sylas ultimate is up and he's near Samira and he doesn't take it, I become less and less convinced.
It's understandable. There are so many good ults to take as well that it can't be helped that he's taking other ultis, especially just with the amount of damage that he can get away with doing.
Somebody in Twitch chat already knows the answer and is definitely malding as we continue to talk about this, but it's going to be a fight coming in as Strixer goes in. Going to be getting a nice pickup here on a Mad Show Gap, who stole the Solar Flare and wasn't able to get much done with it, as it's going to be a 2-for-0. Now Duncan Dumplin looking to get the solo kill on a Koros, but Koros, more powerful, going to be able to shut him down here. It's going to be a 1-for-1 across the map, but they're getting this poke in from the side. Strixer is going to be forced to dash away as he gets picked up by the Essence Flux from Ezreal, or was that the E? I believe it was the E, rather.
Shift.
Yeah. If it gets the job done, it gets the job done. That's going to be almost a solo kill for Rizzuto, and it's going to turn the cross map into a 2-for-1, as Koros now pushing all on his own. Going to be really threatening the spot turret here, going to force recalls out from the other members, and that's going to expose Baron to Omega Gaming Silence.
Exactly. Remember that bot tower T2 that Macho got the entire topside fight was going on. Koros able to pick that one up. Baron now started. The two-man of Nidalee and Ezreal, not the tankiest duo trying to take this down, but Ezreal has some damage to back himself up. Now Vangito and Koros are trying to come through. These long-range casters carry the team fight, and now they start up the Baron. Here comes
Conviction is now aware this is going on. They get the Scryer on the... onto them, but it's only Giovanni here trying to interrupt. Giovanni cannot do this on his own. Do not go in here, Giovanni, as he gets picked off, hit by the Dark Binding, taken down. That was Odin, actually, who got picked up by Koros there with the parlay. Now it's going to be Giovanni being caught on to by the rest of the team. Another kill over to Omega Gaming Silence. They're looking to close this game out. Mad Show Gap now diving in with the Chrono Shift. Now going to be rezzing up, gets the Black Shield on him, going to just try to run away. Another Infernal Trigger not stolen. Another fight won for the side of Omega Gaming Silence.
Yeah, more importantly here, they get themselves the Baron. And we have to remember, Baron has a 100% win rate in this series. Both teams that have picked it up have been able to end with the buff. We'll have to see if Silence can continue that trend here, because they're going to be looking to try and close out this game. Koros with the solo kill down bot lane, cementing himself as the alpha top laner this time round. Wukong not having the same impact that he was hoping to. 1-5 on this champion right now, working towards that Trinity Force, but he's still a long ways away from picking that one up to its completion. Looking at about 1,000 gold before he can get that, and they're hoping that before the next big fight happens that he can get that, but with Drake spawning in about 50 seconds, that's not enough time to generate that much gold.
Yeah, no, Duncan Dunkman forced down to the score line that... Oh, but it might be a catch here onto Vangito. Vangito going to be forced into the Zonias here, getting the chains down on the enemy support, stunning him down as long as possible, but now it's going to be Graves in the back line, just getting chunked out by this 80 carry and support duo, taken down for nothing. Now Mad Show Gap flanking onto Duncan Dumpling, going to take down him as well. It's a 2-for-0 in favor of Omega Gaming Silence, as they're looking to completely snowball this game and take the rest of it. It's going to be another stolen solo flare coming down onto Samira as she just dashes away, but it's going to be a huge spear onto that same character as she tries to retreat. It's going to be more and more objectives being taken down by Omega Gaming Silence. It's going to be Banky Kang on the side, throwing in as many spears as he can. He forces the Resurrect out of Zilean. That tool is no longer available to them as Odin and Boss Giovanni forced back into the Nexus. They're going to heal up in Fountain. They're going to come back and try to 3v5 this to save their base as they lose more and more inhibitors. They're not going to be able to take these fights. They're going to back away, and they're going to try to defend the Nexus for as long as they possibly can as their teammates are respawning.
It looks like a re-engage could come through here. Silence decide to overstay for this inhibitor. Solar Flare not available.
Silence wants this second inhibitor. They're going to take it down, and now they can retreat. They don't need to go any farther, but they might look to, as once again, the Essence Scatter, or rather the True Shot Barrage, is going to be taken away by the Blade Whirl. Odin, though, caught out, does not have ultimate available anymore. Same is true for Duncan Dumplin, who also gets taken down. Once again, it is a 5v3 in the base. It's going to be Omega Gaming Silence looking to end the game here, as Giovanni taking more damage. It's going to be the Inferno Trigger from Nukes onto the other side. Mad Sho'gap has the ultimate. He casts? No, he does not cast it. He doesn't appear to be able to cast it. It's Koros chasing farther into Strixer. Going to be another pickup here, as he was at some point able to cast the Inferno Trigger. We now know that it works, even though it didn't matter for the purposes of the game. It's going to be an ace for Omega Gaming Silence. It's going to be a pickup of the Nexus, and it's going to be Omega Gaming Silence moving up to first in the group and moving on to playoffs.
And our questions got answered. The stolen Inferno Trigger, the single most useless stolen Sylas ultimate that entire game, but we answered our questions. We got the ulti being taken away, so we're happy with that. Silence are going to be very happy as well. They're able to move themselves to 4-1 now in the group. Now that means that they are cemented for playoffs here. They might not take first seed, but they will definitely take a space in the playoff run, and we'll have to see how that plays out. I believe as well that they will cement first seed with that win, because even if it would be Conviction that end 4-2 with them, they have the head-to-head over them because they've beat them both times that they've played them. So I'll have to see how that goes, but the first seed, I believe, locked now, so they're going to get the preferential treatment as they go into playoffs.
Yeah, I do believe that is also playoffs locked for Conviction, though, as I believe somebody was saying in Twitch chat, the Akuma team, while they are 1-3 at the moment, has too low of a series record. So because Conviction was able to win game 2 of this series, they are guaranteed at the second seed. They're going to be going to playoffs as well, and they should feel pretty good coming into it. You know, they put up a good fight in this series. Omega Gaming Silence have looked to be the top dogs for most of this group stage thus far. But being able to challenge them, being able to take a game, and not going to have to face them for a while in the playoffs. So definitely some exciting stuff coming out of Group D.
Exactly, and we definitely exciting to see how these guys go and play forward. They've got final week of regular season, which doesn't particularly mean too much. We've just established, but both of these teams are definitely exciting prospects here. Lots to be proud of, lots to look back on as to try to improve, because obviously they both took games this series and both lost games, so lots of things to look on to improve upon, because if you get later and later into the playoff brackets, dropping those games is definitely not what you want.
Yeah, certainly, but this was a great series. Omega Gaming Silence certainly can feel good about themselves. They're going to be coming into this playoffs as a first seed. And we'd like to thank you guys all for tuning on in, for enjoying this series along with us, and for answering all of our Sylas-related questions. I've been Gordo. This has been Rudude. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next time. Thanks for coming out.